So, thanks for joining me tonight. Some of you know me from Anthony's Papercraft, and I closed the stamp line down about a year ago, and I'm focusing more on teaching and creativity. And tonight we're going to work with some products from Peddler's Den, and we're going to work with some ephemera packets tonight, as well as some of the pre-printed sky papers that are created by one of our designers, Hanna. So let me take my little sign out of the way. If you didn't see it earlier, this is the card we're making. Did the camera go away? No, there, camera's still working. Okay. My new camera doesn't have a light on it, so I don't know when it's working. So here's the card we're going to make, and it is a 5x5 side folding card, and the base of the card is one of the sky papers. So let me show you the ephemera packet, and then I'll show you the sky papers we're going to be using, and then we'll start with that. So the ephemera packet, let me move it up a little bit, comes with a couple of mountain scenes, 3 of the lake, 3 of the beach, some trees, excuse me, a couple of boats, some ducks, and there a young boy sitting on a log, and sorry I'm spinning too fast. Then there's a couple of greetings you can cut apart and use on the front of your card, or just put them inside the card. That's the ephemera pack, and this is about how big the pieces are in the packet. So the base piece is almost 7 inches across, so you could actually do a 5x7 card with the pieces. I chose to do a 5x5 card, and I also did an A2 card that I will show you later using more of the pieces in the pack. This is the cover for the sky paper, the designer paper. You get 16 sheets, 4 of each design, and they are on 80-pound cardstock, and they are kind of smooth. They are a smooth texture, but they're not shiny. So they're a matte finish. So here's the one sky, and here's a purple sky, a storm sky, and another one. And this one, you could use this direction. If you're going to put things on it, you could flip it this direction so you have like a pink evening sky. So those are the papers, the background sheets. Again, there's 16 pieces in the packet, 4 of each design. The packets and the ephemera packets are available from Peddler's Den. And here's Peddler's Den website, peddlersden.com. Until March 18th, in the comments of your order, not in the coupon code, if you put AG free, this company will include a free gift in with your purchase. Again, you need to put it in the comments, not in the coupon code. If you put it in the coupon code, it'll block your order because it's not a valid coupon code. And let me scroll down and look at some comments. Joan, did you get your previous order yet from last week? I know it was mailed. This week, and Tanya is currently in Florida, so any orders you would place online between now and Sunday won't ship until probably Tuesday when she gets back. So again, this is the card we're using. we're going to make tonight. And these are the ephemera pieces that I pulled out of the packet to make this card. You can see they all are outlined in white, like a normal die cut if you ran it through your machine. Personally, I don't like the white edge, so when I use ephemera packets or die cuts, I end up coming back and cutting off the white edge. Sometimes you can ink it, but depending on how you're mixing things together, if you're not doing a scene, the white edge is okay. But when you're doing a scene like this card, you don't want to see these white edges along the trees and around this piece. I mean, this piece alone with the boy on the log, I cut all of this out, including this. Now, when I did cut it out, I inked all my edges of my things with a tan or an appropriate color for what I'm using. Does anybody have any questions so far? Joan, I'm glad you received your order. Tanya's pretty quick on the ball, but like I said, she's traveling. She left for Florida yesterday. So if you're in Florida, there's a show in Orlando, Stamp and Scrapbook Expo. So you could look at their website and see what time the shows are. She's teaching, I think, 5 or 6 classes. So you could actually meet her. I don't know for sure if any of the design team is going with her this time. I know she's got some people in Florida that are helping her, but I'm not sure who they are. So I'm going to get started on my card. To make this card, you need a pair of scissors, a trimmer. I use tape runner and liquid glue, and a couple of sponges and a couple of ink pads. So the first thing I did is I took my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of sky paper and I trimmed off 3/4 of an inch so that it's at, I'm worried more about the width than the height because I'm making a bigger card. So it's 5 1/4 inches, I'm sorry, 4 1/4 inches across so that it will fit on my 5 by 5 card. And I'll show you what we're going to do with this piece as we progress. So when you cut this off, don't throw it out because you're going to need it. So I'm just going to set that off to the side. So the pieces that I used the beach, I used the lake with the tree line, I used the mountain, the boy sitting on the branch, I used a boat, a duck, and 2 of the trees. So just to show you side by side, you can see how I cut out the tree. So here's one, the ones with the white. Sorry, I'm all thumbs today. And one where I cut the white off. And then I just took my olive ink pad and a sponge and inked over any of the white that showed through. There's a little bit, depends on how heavy you push the ink, but a little bit of the white was okay, so it's light shining through the tree. So I did that to all of my pieces, and the only one I need to trim while I'm on with you tonight is the top of the beach, because I want you to see how easy these are to trim off. So I'm just cutting off the white edge off the strip. Yeah, the trees are definitely more involved, but it's a lot of just triangle cuts around the tree branches. So you can just kind of cut in and cut around. So let me cut this out real quick, and then I'll jump back down and look for any questions. and then we'll get to making our card. Okay, so this is all I cut off. I mean, you can stack them if it doesn't bother you. It just bothers me to have the white lines. So what I'm going to do before I assemble my card is I'm going to ink the edges of my main pieces. So I'm just inking like this. You know, it's making it a little bit darker, but it's hiding that white raw edge from cutting. And that's the main reason I'm inking the edges. So I used a tan on the sand. I'm going to use a gray on the top edge of the mountains. Peddler's Den does have their own line of ink pads. As I said last week, I don't have them yet, so I'm working with Memento. The pads that Peddler's Den carry are their own colors, so you won't find their ink pad colors in another person's booth. So that's just, they have their own colors, and there's a lot of companies that do that with their own colors. There's over 50 colors in the Peddler's Den palette. I know for even myself, I'm not going to have all 50. So I'm just darkening up that white edge a little bit with my ink and my sponge. So, and I just need to pat some ink on my trees real quick, and then we're good to go. Oh, now I can see some of the comments on my phone. I forgot to push play, so that's why I couldn't see any comments. So let me get these pieces back out now that you've seen what I'm working with, and I'm just going to start layering on my card. Now on the card, I used the sky this direction. You could certainly turn it around and use it this direction and have more blue in your sky. So when you lay your mountains on it, you would have the darker at the top versus the lighter. So it's totally up to you. There's no right or wrong. So I will make this one with the sky the opposite direction of the one I made prior to doing the live. Hey Samantha, hey Claudia. Oh, my sister Carrie's here. Lori is here. Joan is here. All kinds of fun people. Thank you for joining me tonight, everyone. So far we have 15 people on with us, so that's a good turnout for my second video. So again, I'm going to make this card with a darker sky. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my glue, and I'm just going to put some glue. Sorry for the weird noise, the scratching. I don't even worry about up here at this point. And I'm just going to take this and lay it on. Try and make it somewhat even. And you can also figure out which way you want to go horizontal. What part of the mountains do you want to see more of? So again, with this product, there is no right or wrong. So I'm just going to press it down. It's that simple to attach. Now the next layer I'm going to do is my tree line and my lake. So I'm going to come in again and just put some glue in here. I'm also going to put a few dots of glue up into where the trees are. Up here. Some of it's a little loose. It's not going anywhere once it's put down. So we're going to put this on here. And it's all up to you how much reveal you want of the mountains to show. So I'm just going to set that down on there. And if I have any glue oozing out, I'm just going to take my cloth when I press. So I'm pressing it down and getting any extra adhesive that's put down. And then I'm going to put in my beach. And again, what part of the beach do I want to see? Because this is almost 7 inches long, I'm working on a piece that's 4 3/4 wide. So I'm going to line this edge, the bottom edge, with the bottom edge of my paper here. So I'm going to take and put some glue on here. Not a whole lot. Line it up with the bottom of my paper, and I'm using the glue so that I can slide things around. If I don't like it like this, I can move it a little bit either direction. And then again, I'm going to come with my cloth, press, and I'm going to flip it over and see if there's any glue on the back as well that's sticking out that I don't want sticking out. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I have some Chicago people on with me now too. Great. Yes, Mandy, it's an ephemera packet, but there are stamps available for this entire set of images. So there's a tree, there's a mountain, and I'm sorry, I should have got them out. What I will do is I will pull all the stamps out, and then I will post a picture of the stamps laid out on my Facebook page. I meant to pull those out. Nancy, yeah, you just used a sponge for putting the ink on the paper. And all I did was tap it in the ink pad and then just go like this on the edge. So I've got that much of my scene built. So now I'm going to take my long scissors and I'm going to trim off the two sides. You could get your paper trimmer out, but I'm going through like 3 layers of 80-pound paper here, so that's why I just used my scissors. So now we've taken off this from the two sides. So if I was making an A7 card sideways, these would probably stay on. So we're going to just take these, and you know me and my scraps, if it's smaller than a credit card, I don't keep it. So I know I'll get comments from some of my crafty friends who are on here today about that. So the next thing I want to add to the card is the boat. So again, here's the boat as the whole piece. Because how I'm putting in my card when I cut out the boat, I just cut off the rope. Hi, Georgiana. So I'm just cutting off this part as well. So this is what I ended up with for the boat. Because it's gonna, the way I'm making this card, the boat's not gonna be in the water. It's gonna be up against the sand. So, and then part of this tree is going to go over the boat also. So, I just have that. So again, I'm coming in with my glue, just scribbling some glue across the boat. If I get too much glue on, I just take my hand and smooth it out, wipe the extra glue on my little cloth, and then I come in and just put in my boat. And press it down. Because of the shading and everything in this ephemera packet, the way the coloring is done, everything just adds some dimension to the card. So these are the pieces I have left. I have the boy sitting on the tree trunk, 2 trees, and a mallard duck. And then mount the card, and then it's done. So now, and to get this piece cut out right here, I just cut through the branch. Because when it's glued down, you're not going to see it. So it's just cut through right here. So when it's glued, no one will know you cut through to get at this piece of white in the middle. Yeah, it's an ephemera pack. And again, here is everything in the ephemera pack. You get 3 beaches, 3 of the lake with the tree line, 2 mountains, 4 pine trees, 4 cattails, 3 ducks, 3 boats, 1 of the boys sitting on the branch or on the trunk, and then there's a couple of greetings in here too that you can either cut out, put on the front of your card, or put on the inside. And let me show you real quick, because I got some late arrivals, the sky papers that we're using. So here's the sky paper. And these are designed by one of our design team people named Hanna. So you get 4 of each in the pack. It's $6.95. And they're 80-pound cardstock, and each piece is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So let me hold these up again real quick, spread them out so everybody who's late can see what you actually are getting. They're beautiful cloud images. I'm looking forward to doing a night scene with the one with the moon in it. And you can stamp, you can ink these, you can die cut these, whatever you wanted to do. So let's keep going here. And now I'm going to put glue on this piece. A little bit here. And then when I get to these little branches so they stay down, I just do little dots. And then, like I said before, if I get some big blobs of glue, I can just tap some of it, move it around, and just wipe my finger on my towel, and then we're going to figure out where to put this piece. So I'm going to set him right here and press everything down. And if I end up with a little spot where there's no glue later on, like here, there's no glue, I can just pull this back and add a little bit of glue to that and press it down. And it's glued tight right here where I cut through the log to get this little hunk of white out. Okay, so for my trees, because I'm going to put one on one side and one on the other, I'm just putting glue on the center of it and just half of it. And I'm putting extra glue in here so I can just spread it with my fingers out onto the pine branches. And this one's going to go up just a little bit higher, and I'm going to go right over the top of the boat with it and press it down. Yeah, Lori, you will need these. So I'm going to do the same thing with the next tree on this side. And this tree, when it goes on, it's going to come off the bottom of the page a little bit. It's going to cover up this log. And the other thing I try and make sure is I get the whole top of the tree on my card like you can see here. spread the glue out with my finger a little bit, wipe off the edge, and I'm going to turn it this way so that I can put this tree on, and I'm going to put it lower than it was for that. Everybody with me so far? Any questions so far on any of it? Let me scroll back and see if I have any questions I missed. Terry, this would be another good kind of thing for your ATC cards. Yeah, Carrie, I've tried using tape with this. It's just too difficult. So I'm going to take my flip it over, take my scissors, trim off my edges again, what's hanging over. I'm going to cut off the tree on the bottom, and then come back and cut off the side. Okay, so there's our card so far. And I can already see I did something wrong with it, so don't do as I do, do as I say. I got these two close together, and now my card's going to be a little short compared to the other card. But no worries, we'll fix that. So now I'm going to take just going to use my gray ink and a sponge and just ink around my edges. You could use whatever color you want. I'm just using the gray to cover up the white edges a little bit. Yeah, Debbie, everything's pre-colored. So that's why these are great for card makers who don't want to color. Or some of us are in a hurry and we just need to make a quick card. So now I'm ready to attach this to my card base. So my card is going to be a little short. I mean, my image compared to the other one, because I layered the 3 layers closer together on the second card than I did on the first card. But no worries. So I'm going to grab my tape runner and just tape my card down. Sorry about the noise. Make sure my card is opening where I want it to open. And go ahead and center this top, bottom, 2 sides in the top. And I just flip it over and press it down. Now here's where I'm going to lose all of you, and you're all going to go, oh no you didn't. I'm not digging out my trimmer. I'm just taking my scissors and trimming off my card. I have a friend who is a wonderful crafter and designer, and her line is that I will tell all of you, we are not Hallmark. So there, we are not Hallmark. Now there's no problem because I cut off this little strip off the card. So the only thing I have left to do is my duck, and I'm just going to use a few pop dots for that. I guess this is when tweezers would be good. Okay. Oh, didn't stay, so we're just moving on without it. And we're just going to put the duck up in the sky. And because the duck is larger, the duck is just closer to you in the foreground. That's all. All right, so there's the card I made before the live, and here's the card I made during the live. Difference in the sky using the darker at the top versus the lighter. Yeah, I could have left the bottom on and put a sentiment on there, Carrie. But my brain wasn't working that way tonight. So another night, it might work that way. So what I saved the piece of that I cut off the sky, what I would have had to have done if this was longer, I would have had to cut this in half, glue them together, and then glue them behind the scene to make up the difference in the paper before I attached it to my strip. So this would have been here, and you wouldn't have seen it. So it was just a filler, so that my card was even on the card. The card front was even on the card base. So that's what I did here in this section, is I just used some scraps from something I cut up to use as a spacer under here. So those are the cards. I want to show you another card I made with the sky paper and other pieces from the ephemera package. So here's another card that I made with the ephemera package. Same tree, same tree line with the lake, same beach, different boat. In this one I used the cattails, and yes, I fussy cut the cattails. You all know I'm nuts, and I will fussy cut all night long. And then I just inked a little bit with the tan ink to break down the white in the cattails. The tree, the top part I inked with some blue, and the bottom part I inked with some olive. And then I inked this tree line with the blue as well. This one I inked the tree line with some green. And yes, you can use these to make cards and scrapbook pages and not cut off the white edges. It's just, I just prefer to do that. And the birds was a stamp from Peddler's Den as well, out of a set of bird silhouettes. Yeah, Nancy, you could do the same thing like Carrie was saying, leave the extra space down here. But I know what my handwriting looks like, so I tried that on a card the other day from last week. I ended up punching something out and putting it on top to cover it up because my handwriting is so bad. Especially when I'm using a pen I'm not normally used to. So again, these are the cards we made, that I made with this kit. Here's the website for the product, peddlersden.com. There are also samples on their website if you go to the blog and look at some of the other cards from their website. If you decide you want to place an order for something, again, if you put AG free in the comments, not in the coupon code, now through March 18th, you'll get a free gift in your packet. So, just to show you real quick, what did I do with it? This is a card I made with other products of Peddler's Den. This mountain is the same mountain that we used in the ephemera pack, but this one was the stamp and I colored it. So you can see as a comparison, coloring versus not coloring. So you could use the ephemera pack along with the stamps. So you could use this mountain, the moon. This one I used black ink and I did some silhouette stamping on it. So this is the basis of Peddler's Den line, is scene building. This card probably had maybe 7 stamps in it to make this card, and the dots are just with a jelly roll pen for the stars. So that's what I have for you tonight. I will scroll back through and look at any of the questions. We put this back up here again if you want to take a screenshot or write it down. I'm going to try and do a live every Wednesday at 7:30. I'm getting more comfortable with it. I don't know if Sean is on tonight, but once a month, Sean from Manly Made Minute, and follow him as well on Facebook and Instagram and Peddler's Den. And there's constantly card images and things being posted, and all kinds of new stuff happening. We just did a new release at Peddler's Den, and I will be using some of that stuff next week as well. And thanks again for joining me. I'm very excited to share with you some things that are in my head, and I appreciate the questions and the comments. So have a nice evening, everybody. Thank you so much.